coming right there.
All right, welcome back, guys. Here on Tactical Rifleman this week, we're going to do something a little bit different. Because we have the guys from Fit to Fight Republic, and obviously you can tell a little bit of a difference here in height, right? So our deal is, you know, I've gotten a lot of complaints from people saying, well, yeah, like what you're teaching's cool, but like I'm smaller and you're bigger, and so it won't work. So what we're doing is we brought in these guys to have a little conversation about how to take on a person who's bigger than you. So
yeah, so let's just get it out of the way right from jump. Being bigger and stronger matters. They're bigger and stronger. Those attributes matter. In the martial arts world, I think there's this want to sell something. So I say, oh, size doesn't matter. Strength doesn't matter. All you have to do is you learn this technique and that technique and this thing. And it's all bullshit. None of it's true. Attributes matter. If you're bigger, that matters. Stronger, that matters. Faster matters. Tougher matters. Meaner matters. All of those things matter. And so when you tend to be a smaller person in most rooms, you have to be better, right? So your skill sets, if you're going to devote time, you want to devote time to being perfect. You're never going to attain that, right? But you could get away with things at 60% that I would never be able to get away with, right? Because you're considerably bigger and stronger than me. And so if it's not dialed in, technically proficient, you'll still be able to make it work. Whereas me versus you, that's not going to happen. And then the other side of that is I have to overwhelm with aggressiveness, right? I can't allow them, especially a bigger, stronger person, because they already have the jump on me in terms of attributes. I can't allow them time. I can't allow them the ability to recover. Once I go, I have to be all in and totally committed to whatever that action is. And it's just for a moment in time, right? Because my goal is just to survive. So it may be 6 seconds of wide open just destruction, and then maybe I'm hauling ass and running off. Or maybe I'm taking off and picking up a chair and using that or whatever it is. But fights are won with moments in time. I'm not waiting for Dana White to come raise my hand and put a belt around me. You know, I want to be in my truck on the way to the house. And so if you're smaller, the goal is to be better, right? More technically proficient. And then absolutely as aggressive as possible to where, or as feasible rather, to where when it's go time, I can flip that switch and really bring it. Because you probably approached me or approached Amber because you thought we would be an easy fight, right? And so right from jump, I need to shift that predator-prey kind of paradigm. I need to let you know right from the beginning, I've been here before. This is not going to be as easy as you thought it was, and maybe I make it just no longer worthwhile to you. Because in my experience, there are obviously exceptions to this, but criminals, bad guys, they're not really looking for a fight. They're not going out and picking the dude they think is going to kick their ass. They're looking for, you know, an easy target. And if I can, right in the beginning seconds of an altercation, even if that means that I'm lining you up and I'm hitting you first, if I can switch that and make you at least pause for that moment in time, then that gives me a chance to continue to attack or to take off.
Yeah, I mean, you covered all of that.
I've talked about being little a few times.
You have to be better, you have to train, you have to find bigger people to train with. That's who I'm going to encounter. So if every time I'm going into my training situation and I'm finding somebody my size and touching hands and getting after it, that's just not realistic for me. So I need to find people that I trust and that I can work with that are bigger, that are going to allow me to pressure test things and fail a lot in a controlled environment and feel what that's like here. So I've been there before I've gone there, so to speak. I want to feel what it's like to be overpowered and somebody to have the upper hand and the advantage in the training floor before the first time I experienced that being in an altercation or somebody approaching me in a bar that's your size and I've never dealt with this before.
Yeah, if you're not failing, you're not training in our mind, you know. So the way, if like Amber said, if I know that I'm most likely to have to deal with somebody bigger and stronger, then I need to bring in and work with people that are bigger and stronger. If it was somebody faster, or if it was, if I was deficient in my wrestling, then I should bring in a wrestler, right? I need to recognize what my assets and liabilities are, and then try to strengthen those things that are not to my advantage. I'm 5'7", 100 pounds. I'm never going to be 6'2", 230, right? There's nothing I can do.
6'3".
There's nothing I can do to make myself taller for sure. Yeah, maybe I can, lift more weights or whatever. Maybe but I'm never going to be a big framed person. I'm never going to have the reach. I'm never going to have these things. So I need to take my attributes and make them work for me. And one of the things that I think you absolutely can control is, a level of an aggressiveness that you bring to a situation. Because I can't control that you're bigger and stronger than me.
So, yes, let me just say this for a lot of people who maybe don't understand it from the bigger person's perspective, right? Being bigger, you don't always see people, if you have a couple of brain cells left, you don't always see the situation as, oh, he's smaller, I can kick his ass, right? If you actually fight and you train these things, you should be able to recognize what's dangerous about this, right? There's a lot of things to me that are dangerous about facing somebody who's smaller and lighter than I am. They're going to be faster, right? They can reach places that are harder for me to defend, right? Any low line attack is going to be very hard for me to defend against, somebody who's Speedy Gonzalez, right? So it's not just, yes, there's
this. Yeah, no, there's the other side.
Right? There's a disparity here of certain attributes. So show us how to overcome those and how to kind of, hit those spots.
Yeah, I think we talked about this in a prior video, preemption and when I can, right? If I can go first, I absolutely should, if the context dictates, right? If I can put myself in a position to where I'm controlling this space as much as possible, maybe I kind of blade it off from your what I assume is your power side, and bang, I'm taking that shot, and then I'm moving into whatever's going to be next, as opposed to, okay, I'm going to do this cool little move, and now I'm this and whatever. I want to put you behind the curve right from the beginning, because if I don't and you get to go first, now how much time I put into here is really going to be put to the test. Because if now I'm injured, the room is spinning, the room's closing off, whatever it is, and now I'm still having to fight through that, and I'm giving up size, and I'm giving up strength, that's going to be a real problem. But attacking the groin, attacking the eyes, attacking the throat, those kinds of things, because big, strong people have those same vulnerabilities. If I punch somebody in the throat, if I headbutt somebody in the face, if I kick somebody in the groin, especially like you talked about from the standpoint of low line attacks, if I can keep your eyes and be active up here, and then all of a sudden now I just created an opportunity. Maybe I don't finish you with a groin strike. I think some circles have done a disservice to the overall efficacy of a groin strike. I don't think people just fall down into a fetal position and go, you bastard, But
it does suck.
It does suck, and even if you don't make good, clean contact, you still usually get some sort of flinch response, which now then tends to open up things on the high line.
Bring you down to their level.
Yep. Now, the bigger they are, the harder they fall thing, there's some truth to that if I can get your posture broken. Right, as long as your shoulders
show us what that means.
Right, so as long as your shoulders stay over your hips, I'm not going to be able to take you where you don't want to go.
Yeah.
But if I can get your posture broken, now your hips are away from your shoulders, your nose is out past your knees. Now I can start working towards things that allow me to take advantage of your size and your posture, and now I can hit my snap downs and be overwhelming with aggressiveness and those kinds of things.
Nice.
Yeah. I wanted to just mention the headbutt that you looked at. For the most part, if we're prioritizing what we spend our time training on, I should have a lot of opportunities for headbutts. Typically, given I'm shorter than most of the population, I'm going to have an easier time making contact with the correct part of my head to the correct part of your head versus where you're going to have those opportunities.
Yeah,
if it's somebody
sure.
shorter, right, you're not going to headbutt down at me, right? But if I'm inside running straight up into you, or even if we're in a clinch situation, I'm going to have that use of my head and it's going to be in a better position. Sort of on that note, yeah, my low line attacks are going to be a little bit easier to use, but I'm also going to have a little bit more opportunities, whether I'm breaking your posture or as you're standing back up out of your posture, to look to take the back and kind of get around and get to the outside and make my angles. Use between speed and between kind of using your size to a disadvantage of sorts. You come up, your posture comes up. There's still a lot of space for me to work here that you don't necessarily realize.
I think being mobile and moving is super important.
Yeah.
You know, we talked about aggression, but it's in a controlled way, right? You're a bigger, stronger person. I'm not here. Like it's if we're playing football, I don't want to hit the running back head on, right? I'd rather hit him from an angle. So as a smaller person, if I can be moving and be mobile and use aggressiveness, but also be smart about not being right inside your elbows, not being right in front of you, but creating angles to where I'm outside now, and now I'm using that kind of energy and momentum to my advantage, as opposed to standing here where all of your power is readily available to you. This is not a good trade, right?
Yeah.
You're longer, you're stronger. Like your punch range is pretty close to my kick range. Like I can't make contact with you from here.
Yeah.
So standing there doesn't make good sense. So good incidental defense, lots of movement, using speed where I can, being aggressive, understanding push-pull energies. You know, if you're coming in and being aggressive and using that pushing energy to pull and get offline, using things like headbutts, groin kicks, grabbing the throat, thumbs in the eyes, those kinds of things where I don't care how big and strong you are your eyes, you know.
Yep.
And even if it doesn't finish a fight, you will get a response. Thumbs in the eye, somebody gets a gnat in their eye and they're doing this kind of thing. So,
or the second the head goes back, right? The second the head goes back, that's why you see in Krav Maga all the time, even the palm strike, which people poo-poo all the time, but they're very effective.
That's a great,
right? That palm strike, you get that head going back, that whole center of mass is off balance, and it opens up everything, all the targets, right?
That's right. Now that's a posture break that way.
Right.
And it's the same
it's
idea.
the worst place you could be.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Anything else?
I think we hit that one.
Good. See, so I always thought in the Army that it sucked being the big guy because I had to carry all the weight. All the CT instructors they'd pick me out and kick my ass and break my nose first. Sometimes it helps, and it's nice to be able to have that in terms of, people may mess with you less.
Right.
And I guess we're maybe opening up the floodgates, but yeah, so if you're smaller than your assailant, that doesn't mean you're necessarily at a disadvantage. You just have to know what your advantages are, and you have to exploit them.
Yep. Put in the time. That's what you control. The time you put in on the mats, the time you put in, training, that's the variable that's 100% on you.
Cool. Well, thank you guys. I think that's a really valuable lesson.
Appreciate it.
So, all right. Cool, guys. That's it for this week. Check us out next week. We'll be back with more cool stuff.
If you like this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter so you don't miss out on anything.